Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Kayfabe with Keaton. I can't believe I'm getting on such a great guest like Lil Show today. I've been trying to get him on for a while, and this is going to be such a good podcast here. And I'm not going to waste no time, and let's just bring him in. Lil Show, the Redneck Brawler.
Hey man, what's going on?
Thanks very much for coming on today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
What have you done today? Is it nicer weather?
I'm sorry.
Is it nicer weather? What have you done today?
Oh, I haven't really done anything. I'm actually off today, so I'm just relaxing and just enjoying the peace right now because tomorrow I got a show I got to do. So I'm just relaxing today.
Well, let's get straight into it. So, I know you've been. We were talking back a while ago there. None of your shot there. So, what's your very first memory of wrestling? Because I know you've been wrestling for a while.
My very first memory is I was 13 and I was in Memphis Power Pro Wrestling. What happened was is a buddy of my grandpa's or my grandma's cousin, which was Grady. He was real good friends with Jerry Lawler, and at the time, Jerry Lawler needed some little guys, and there was no little guys in that area where we was at. So he said, "I know some." I was 13, my brother was 12, and we do flips and all that stuff. So Jerry said, "All right, well, get in there and let me see what you can do." So I hit the worm, and then my brother hit a cartwheel into a back flip, and he's like, "Okay." So he basically just used this for like a couple of weeks, and we did a lot of comedy stuff with him and his wife and her friend and stuff like that. And that went on for like weeks. Well, actually, probably about 2 months, and then it kind of just stopped, And then I was like, okay, I figured that was it. Fast forward maybe 6 months later, my grandpa took me to my first wrestling show, and I thought because I didn't know anything about, I didn't know, I've never heard of indies wrestlings then, so I thought it was WWE. I was all right. We're going to WWE. Nope, went to like this little bitty like looked like a house. It was a house. Well, that's where his house in Ripley, Mississippi, and I went there and I'm going there to watch it. And as soon as I come out, the one of the main guys come out. He's like, "You guys were on Memphis Power Pro Wrestling, right?" "Yeah." Do you guys want to wrestle?" "Okay." So went in there and obviously didn't really know what we was doing, but was like, "Okay, we're gonna do it." And it was a bad. If we shouldn't have done it, but we did it, and it didn't go as good as they like it went to, so they had to break up the match because I had no training, and so I was trying to hurt my brother, and he was trying to hurt me because that's just how we wrestled at home. So that's what we did, and they had to break it up. That didn't work good, so finally we had our training that we needed, and once we got trained, it was we just started wrestling from there. So about 23 years for the both of us. Yeah, that's
That's
how I
great.
started. It's a crazy. Actually, I still remember my tag team partner was Neil Taylor, and then my brother's tag team partner at that time was called the Preacher. Ripley, Mississippi. And I trained, got my license, and then I started wrestling in Boonville, Mississippi. Then went to Tupelo, Mississippi. Then went to let's go up to Georgia, and then like from my high school days on the weekends, I was wrestling. I was traveling. I was already going to different states. There's times where I'd be in Arkansas one night, had to drive all the way to Florida. I didn't drive. My dad drove. He was my manager at that time. He drove us everywhere. I mean, we was doing 3 shows a week. We'd go to school from Monday to Friday, get off in the middle of the day on Friday, and hit Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every week. We was booked.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. And you've been wrestling from your 13. And the crazy thing
yeah,
is, like, most 13-year-olds who like wrestling will either be doing it in high school or else they would be doing backyard wrestling, not actually wrestling with like legends like Jerry the King Lawler, which is crazy.
yeah, yeah. I actually has a funny part because I was like, "Hey, man, are we getting paid?" And they're like, "No, you don't get paid. This is like your." Which at that time, I'm 13. I'm asking these crazy questions. They're like, no, but you're getting seen. You're getting seen. And that was the pay. Because Memphis Power Pro Wrestling in the Mid South, it's big. Like it's big. Like everybody watches that. So it was really cool. Bill BW up there with Bill Dundee, Jerry Lawler, Coco Beware, all these big names, and it's like being a little fish in a little fish in a big pond. It's really cool, really intimidating too when you're 13.
And I know you probably learned loads of stuff from these guys, but when you were maybe backstage with Coco Beware and Jerry the King Lawler, people like that, did you ever feel much imposter syndrome?
No, actually, I've got $1 from Coco Beware because I was like, hey, I wanted a drink, and he's like, where? I was like, I don't have $1. He gave me $1, and I put it in the machine and got $1. I should have kept it, but I got it. It's just these little moments, like you remember these little moments, and you're like, wow, like that's 13 years ago. I'm still, I mean, that's not 13, but that's like 23 years ago, and I can still remember every detail of that day because that was a big day to me. That was like it's either something's gonna happen, something's not gonna come from it. And there was a lot of times I didn't think nothing's gonna come from it because they kept telling me I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, and I didn't do it. And eventually, he just that ride to go, that it stopped. Like they didn't need me no more. Memphis Power Pro, they didn't need us in that story no more. And it's like right whenever we got the clothes for it. Like my aunt went and got us blue jean jackets with our names spray painted on the back of it. The Little Hillbillies. This is Bo and Little Hillbilly. This is Luke. That was our wrestling name. And as soon as we got that, they didn't need us no more. So it's like, hey, we don't need you.
That's the way it is with wrestling stuff. Things do go like that. When you say Jerry the King Lawler needed little guys, what exactly did he need?
I think he wanted a comedy spot. He wanted, and that there was no little guys around there, no midgets, and so they knew his friend, which is great. He knew us, was our family member, and he's like, I got 2 of them. So he brought us up there, and it was a tryout. It was basically, hey, what can you guys do? Okay, I can do the worm into a backflip. My brother can hit a corkscrew into the backflip. Okay, well, this is what I want you to do. How about when you guys come in there, you hit it and you bite my wife on her thigh, and you bite her friend on the thigh. It was just comedy stuff. It was just like a laugh, but it was good stuff. It was just good for TV. It was great. It was easy. That's what we did. We did comedy. So, and that's what he needed at that time. And I was 13, so I didn't really, I didn't know any real move. Wasn't trained at that time. I didn't get trained till ever I left Memphis Power Pro Wrestling. That's when I got trained. I trained forever. I still train today. I'm in this business. You never stop learning. The day you stop learning is the day you should put your boots up, because I never stop learning. I always learn something new. And I tell it all the guys out here, same thing. The day you stop learning is the day you should put your boots up.
And at the time, I'm sure you didn't know how much of a big deal this was when you were only 13. But being in the ring with the likes of Coco Beware and Jerry the King Lawler, what were the biggest things or biggest piece of advice that you took out from their training that you still do today?
Less is more. Less is more, which all the old school wrestlers say that. I say it now. I was like, what? Less is more? That don't make sense. But less is more. Less is more. And we all have a bump card. So that's another one.
I'm just going to go into some of our viewers here who've asked some questions. So Carrick in District Pool League asks, you started as a teen. What is the fundamental for trainers to work on with kids?
Like I said, I didn't really get, I didn't really get trained when I was 13. I probably started getting trained when I was let's see that fast forward. Probably let's go 14. 14. So yeah, still a teenager then. The fundamentals is I just went and did it. Like how I was raised is, my grandpa took me to the training thing because there were some guys and they seen that me and my brother had something. They didn't know what it was, but they knew we had something, and they took us in there. Okay, do your rows. Boom, 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 boom. Now to go for a hip toss. My first day of training, I dislocated my shoulder.
Oh,
Dislocated my shoulder. Yep. And so how they would do it where I was at is we would train at the begin. You would train from 4 to 5, and then from 6 to 8, or there's a show. So you're in the back and you're watching the show. You know what I mean. Like you're there to learn. I learned, but yeah, I would train before the show, and I'd watch the show every Saturday night. I was only training one day. It was Saturday at that time. These guys out here now that we have, they can train every day because we have 5 to 6 shows every week. So they're in the ring every day, getting better and better and better. Where it took me months, years to get certain stuff down because I was only training once a week because that's the only time I could come up there to work with kids. But I think patience is the key to working with kids. It is for me. I mean, not even kids, not even adults. Patience. Pat Tanaka said, patience is the key to training. You got to have patience, and he has a lot of patience. So me, I don't have that much patience, but he has a lot of patience. And he's always telling me, he's like, man, you can be a great trainer. You just need patience. So the patience, I believe, is the answer for that in my book.
and Baga asks, which micro is the strongest, most improved, most coachable, best on the mic, gets the biggest pops, and gets the most fan mail?
Well, the most strongest, I'm going to go, it's either Hot Rod or Chief. But Hot Rod is pound for pound the strongest, like, and the most athletic. And he's improved. And coachable, I'm gonna say. I mean, right now I'm with I got Ben, not Suave. Uh, I believe Hot Rod could be more coachable. Anything, if you give him advice, he'll do it. Zach Presley's the same way. Jamaican Joe, he's another one that guys. Hey man, let's do this. Okay, let's do it. Who am I missing? Rufio. There's Mr. Nice Guy. Who else that I've worked with that I know? Psycho. Psycho is very coachable because he's hungry. He wants to be whatever he needs to be. And he is probably my opinion, the best on the mic is Flying Ryan. He's the best talker on the mic. He's very good. It gets the biggest pops. Hot Rod gets a big pop. Jamaican Joe gets a big pop. Psycho gets a big pop. Baby Jesus, he gets a big pop. He don't know how to do nothing, but he gets a big pop. The ladies, pretty much all of the divas, they get a big pop. Micro Tiger. I mean, we have a lot of, it's not just one. It's like, it's all of them. All of them bring something different to the table. So it's not just one. You got Ivar the Micro. He has a lot of fans. Micro Jackson. He don't even wrestle. He's a referee, and people, he's amazing. He's good at what he does. You know what I mean? Like he's good at what he does. Like we have a great team over here, and I'm very proud of all the micros. I think they're all doing great.
And Manny Molly asks, what's the difference between micro 1 and micro 2?
That is a good question. Personally, I think over here there's more. I think there's more hard hitting and more micro one. We don't really have no girls over here. Not to say there's nothing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. Not saying nothing wrong with that. Not having girls. Uh, but I just think it's more hard hitting over here. Like there's a lot of bigger bumps over here where micro two there's not as um many powerhouses over there, I guess. High flyers, you only have a couple. But also you have the girls over there, so they bring something different to the show than Micro One does. So that's a big difference. I think it's just a different vibe, but all in all, they're both great shows. They're just a little bit different. One's a little more hard hitting. The other one's got the ladies, the micro divas, and then you got the high flyers, and then it's so basically high flyers and more hard hitting, and then you got the ladies, and you got a lot more gimmicks. You got King Clover over there. A lot of new guys are over in micro two, so I think that's the difference. But all in all, both of them great shows.
And in Micro One, you would tour a lot more, wouldn't you?
Yes. Well, you tour with Micro One and Micro Two both. Now at the building you don't tour. They're there 4 days a week at the Microtorium in Pigeon Forge on East Ware Valley Road. They're there all year long. You got likes of Psycho, Pinky, Micro Tiger, Little Chola, Baby Jesus, Nathan Gnome, Olivia. You got Andrew the Giant there now. But I think Andrew the Giant's actually coming out here and he's gonna start wrestling. So Andrew the Giant is starting to wrestle. He's gonna be in the ring, which is great news. I'm happy for him.
Yes.
Little Ozzy is at the building. Who else? I think that's about it. But they have shows there Wednesday through Saturday all year long.
Yeah, and you are on the road obviously quite a lot as well, and being away from family and stuff. How does that feel?
It's hard. It's very hard. But I told my wife, how I met my wife. I was doing this, and I was like, I'm gonna be on the road. So she's like, I know, and I was like, she knows how much I love it, and now I try. I try to I can make time out for her now. You know what I mean? Like I used to couldn't come home as much as I wanted to because in my book I felt the company was growing. And I felt like they needed me out here. But now it's getting to a point where I can go home. And visit, spend more time with family now,
Yeah.
and come back and forth and alternate it better now than I could before.
Yeah. And when you were training with Jerry Lawler, and then after that, before we're on the podcast, I heard you say some stuff about like when you got your license and stuff. So when you were, so when you went to different companies, like different indie companies, were you one of the only micros like on the scene?
Yes, we were we were like we would be either the main or the semi-main, and we was the main attraction on the card, or they're bringing a bigger name, or they had a championship match on that night. But yes, so like I would go to Georgia because there was Action Mike Jackson. He had his own promotion up there, and then sometimes I go to Tupelo with Tony Davs, and I would actually wrestle in Tupelo every Friday night because at one time me and my brother was tag team champions there. They made us tag team champions. We and so I went from Boonville, wrestling in Boonville, Jumpertown every weekend, to hey, let's jump over where I'm in Tupelo on Friday night, and then Jumpertown on Saturday night, so I can get more time, more better, and just learn more. And because the more you do it, that's the more you learn. So that was our whole thing, and I wasn't getting paid nothing. A hot dog and a handshake when I was doing, jumping back and forth because nobody was getting paid. It was just like, hey, this is what we do, back and forth, back and forth. Then I met a guy named Sarge O'Reilly, and he was like, man, I could take you. We should take. He took me up to Arkansas, took me to this place, this place, this place. And he started saying, man, you guys should at least be getting something. And so we started getting paid, I think $50 a show, right? Then it jumped up to 70 a show. So, but I didn't get paid nothing for maybe the first 2 years of wrestling.
That's crazy. And with you guys being one of the only indies on the scene, you and BBG is one of the only micros on the scene. When you went to different places, did you ever get discriminated and like for your size or anything?
No, well, the boys in the back, you know, we joke with each other. They joke with each other, and I felt comfortable with them. I never felt, oh man, I was comfortable. I like, man, their gear's better than mine at that time. You know, they had like some nice gear. I had like a singlet and some knee pads and some shoes. That's it. But no, I never felt intimidating. I never felt like I was out of place. They made me, you know, we fit right at home. They all loved us. Yeah, but we came there with our dad. And like I said, at that time, our dad was our driver. He was our trainer. You know, we would be jogging, and he would put like weights on our legs to jog and to jump on pallets so we can jump flat foot on the ring. And yeah, he was in his mind, he was like, if you're gonna do this, then you're gonna be the best. You're not gonna half it. You're gonna be the best. I'm not gonna put my time in it if you're gonna half it. So for most of my career, well, probably until I got with Micro, I was always just trying to say, hey, because every time when we would leave the ring or whatever, I'd always ask my dad, hey, what'd you think of the match? It was good, but it could be better. It was never good enough. And that's how I am with a lot of the guys out here. Like, yes, I let them know this is what you can do to make it better. But you're doing a great job. But if you just do this, man, that'd be awesome if you could do that. That'd be great if you could do that. You know, because you have to tell them. You have to, and that's how I think that's how we evolve. You know.
Yeah. And would you say that with you saying this with the micro wrestling, would you say that you're kind of like the Undertaker backstage?
A lot of people say that. I mean, I've been into. I'm one of the. I guess I'm one of the old guys. I think a lot of people say that. I've been not by you. You've said it. You just said it now, but a lot of people have told me that. Not the guys itself, but the fans. I think I'm just one of the guys that if they need something, I'll help them. I enjoy helping them, or like because if I can't do it, I know they can do it, and I can help them get that. Man, I feel like I did it. I feel like, oh my God, that looks great. Let's do that again. Like it gives me joy. It really does. It really does give me joy to, hey man, try this. Let's do this and see how that works. And I don't know. I enjoy that.
Yeah. Help. And you being one of the longest, and you saying that you and your brother were some of the only micros that were there in the Indies. When you first saw Hornswoggle come onto the scene and El Torito and people like that, did you ever feel that they're taking your spot because you've been there for so long?
No, well, because Hornswoggle was there before I was. I remember watching him. You know, I don't think I was wrestling when he was in WWE yet. I don't think I was wrestling. I don't even know how many. I might have been wrestling. I don't know. I was 13. I don't know how much older he was for me, but I knew that I wasn't at that level to be there yet. You know what I mean? You know when you're at that level, and especially watching El Torito, I knew I wasn't at his level neither. And so when I met him, I was like, I'm gonna be like a sponge and soak up everything I can. Because anytime I see somebody that I feel I can learn something from, or is, you know, that can help me, I'm a sponge, especially when it comes to what I love, which is this business. I eat, sleep, and breathe this business, and I'll be like a sponge, and I'll soak up all the knowledge that I can. If he will, if he's willing to help, I will soak it up because I want to be the best, not in like a greedy or I'm better than you way. I want to be remembered in this decade in this area. Hey, who was the top 5 micros in or midget wrestlers in this decade? I would love my name to be in that top 5.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
you're definitely in the top 5. Like, when you think of from micro wrestling and stuff, you were one of the originals, and you've been wrestling from you were 13 all over the indies. You definitely deserve to be
yeah,
in the top 5 spot. um,
yeah.
when you were, did you watch the WLC match? Have you seen that before?
I did actually. My buddy, I had the referee that was in that. I knew him. I knew the commentator, which was Short Sleeve Sampson. He was known as I think he was playing Jerry the Kid. He was
Many
playing a mini Jerry Lawler and stuff.
seen that.
Um, yeah. So at that time I was working with the company that they was with, which was MCW, and that's where I met Pat Tanaka at. So when that match was going on, I was with MCW, and that's where I met Pat Tanaka at. And but yeah, so that referee, he's very very talented. He actually, he's passed away, but he was a very talent person. His name was Casey James.
And when you mention our wrestling, when you mention our getting trained by Pat Tanaka, would you say that he highly influenced your career quite a lot? Highly influenced your wrestling?
100%, 100%. He, like I said, I thought I was good. I didn't, I was like, okay. And then I remember when I first met him, we was there at a show and we was in our backstage, which was a bus, and he was like, "Oh, I'm Pat Tanaka," and I was like, "Show, like I don't know you. I
You didn't
didn't,
know.
I didn't know who he was. I was like, I don't know you." And uh, uh, Samson came up to me and he's like, "You know who that was, right?" I was like, "No." He's like, "That's Pat Tanaka." I was like, "Who?" Like I didn't know who he was. So, but I knew because of how Samson and everybody looked at me. I was like, "Well, he's important." I knew that. I knew that much. I was like, "He's something. He's somebody." So I was like, "Okay." And they said he had a talk with me. He's like, "Yeah, I train." I said, "Okay." So I told my brother, I said, "Hey, man, let's go out here and show him what we can do. Just show him everything we got. We'll be the first match. We show him everything we can do, and we'll see what he thinks." And we went out there and we showed him, and he came back. He's like, "It was a great match. You did a great job." He said, "But you need to be tuned up. If you just let me work with you, you'll be one of the greatest." It's okay. So the guys would go to the ring to the hotel, and me and my brother would go with him to set the ring up. So we would help him set the ring up, so we would get more time in the ring and train with him. That's how hungry we was. We wanted to prove ourselves. We was in a new company, and you have to prove yourself. So went to prove myself. We did that, and then I moved in with him. We got an apartment, and we trained every day. I moved to Florida. I was living in Mississippi with my grandma, and I moved to Florida. Said, "Hey, I'm going after this," and trained every day. Every day,
And
I was in a ring.
so he had a ring in his back garden.
No, we actually there down the street. We was doing this. It was like our headquarters, kind of like, and they had a ring in the basement. So we would go down there and we would train every night. Every night we would train, you know. And I just learned so much of the spots and the kata, and just how certain everything is about timing. I just learned and it was great. And because everything in wrestling is about timing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio said it before, and you said it earlier. Pat Tanaka's without a doubt the best bumper in wrestling. Um,
Yes,
did he help your bumping quite a lot? Do you think?
he did. And my brother. So everybody in micro believe my brother is one of the fastest bumpers in micro. Like he he's fast. He's fast. Yeah, it's just a quick bump. It's different. Like he hits that mat hard. It's
You
totally
know,
different.
and he can. You said this again, but he can make anyone look good, and I suppose that's one
Yes,
of the things in wrestling as well, making people look good.
of course, of course. Look at Shawn Michaels. Everybody wants to wrestle him. Look at Dolph Ziggler. Everybody wants to wrestle him because they can. These guys can make their opponent look better than what they are.
And when there's
That's you know.
yeah. Sorry for interrupting either. So when there's some training facilities, when there wasn't any training facilities for micro wrestlers, and you and Baby Jesus were just working together, just you two. At what point did micro wrestling come out? Not just that company, but companies for micro wrestlers.
So how I got into the whole because before that I was at Indies and we was the only at that time we was the only micros on the card ever. I never seen another micro, never. Only my brother. And then I graduated high school, and then my dad was like, "Hey, I got this call from a guy. He wants to know if you want to come on tour." I'm like, "On tour? Yeah." They travel all around. They do. It's a midget company, and I said it's all them. I said, yeah, it's okay. And it was called Extreme Midget Wrestling. That was the name of it.
Part of it.
And so I went out there, and for 5 years I was on tour. I was okay. And then I went to Micro Championship Wrestling, which was MCW. I was out there for about 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years. That's where I met Pat Tanaka. That's where I got better. And then I went back to Extreme, and then stuff fell through again. So I left, and then I was like, man, I don't know what's going to happen. And then I seen this Micro Wrestling, and they had like 12 guys. And that was unheard of to have 12 guys on a wrestling show. Never seen it before. Mostly you have six. They had 12. I was okay. In my mind, I'm like, well, they're doing something right. So I made up this video. My son made this video for me, like a highlight reel. And I sent it in. I said, hey, this is what I can do. Uh, this is what I could do. I would love to come out and join. And Jack called me within a month, or actually 2 weeks. He messaged me. He's like, hey, I'm pretty full right now. Let us go on break. When we come back, I'll bring you out. And I've been out ever since. I've been with this company ever since. That was 2016.
You've been with them for a while, obviously, and what as you said, they're one of the originals. As there's so much more micro wrestlers right now, it's obviously the premier micro wrestling promotion. Jay Amazing was one of the first ones, I believe.
Jay Mason was here before I was here. Like he is the original one when they started up in 2009, I think. He was here when they started here. But when I came here, he wasn't here. He was doing his own thing. But he's the original one.
And a lot of people hadn't really heard of micro wrestling until a few years back, and it had its highs and lows. I first discovered it on Discovery, the Big Little Brawlers series.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, how does it feel to be there for that journey? The journey of when they were just starting out, and not much people knew what it was until and then seeing it grow so much. How did that feel?
It felt great. It felt great. It felt like all the work that we had put in is actually paid off, and it's great whenever the fans are getting to know our story, and they're getting to know the not just us in the ring, but on the outside of the ring too. Um, and it helped us with publicity,
Mm.
massive. Like it helped out a lot. But it also took a lot of work for us to get that too. It took like 2 years, 2 or 3 years of us working with TikTok and working with our Instagram and getting more followers for them to look at us and be like, hey, Kay, they do have a following. So how about let's go, let's do something. And so it took a lot of hard work for us to get there. But hey, we got there. And now we want to get more. You know what I mean? We're on that level. We got a great team out here. We got a great team. And hopefully we get more. Hopefully we get more new talents. Like we was talking earlier. Like I would love to get some, UK talent and Japan talent and just all of them come out. We find some micros all over the world. Here we go.
And Cody Hawk, at what point did he join?
So he joined right before we got the Discovery Channel. Little Hank Dalton was still here, and I want to say I think he joined maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And yeah, he's a great trainer. He's helped a lot of the new talents. Help is he trains a lot of them and shows them the basics, and he has a lot of let me think of the word. I'm going blind here. So expertise, and he has a lot of experience in training because he's trained LA Knight, Dean Ambrose. He has a lot of people that he's trained that are big, and for him to train us, the micros, is incredible. The only thing different is with us sometimes that he has to do stuff different because our body doesn't move like his body does. Our limbs ain't as long as his, so we can't do the move like he does it. We have to do it our own way, and so he has to get used to that. But that's his only. He's told me, he's like, that's my only kind of like not a downfall, but it's like a problem that he's getting in. But other than that, it's great. Like he's helped out, such a new stars coming up as King Clover, Micro Suave, all the ladies. All the micro divas. That's all him. Like he has worked with them so much. We got some more new talent coming in. There's a new talent called Deuce, brand new. He just graduated high school and he's here. He did amateur wrestling in high school, and now he's coming out to be a micro, which is great. I'm trying to think of who else. Like there's a lot of new guys. Chief Littlefoot. I don't know. My mind's going blank, but it's all the new talent is because of Cody Hawk. Like he's helped them out so much. So
yeah, Cody Hawk. And just speaking of that, this question kind of matches it. So I'm going to bring this one out first because it kind of matches what we're talking about. He said, Darren White said, "What's Jack and Cody like behind the scenes?"
They're great. They really work well together. They both have a vision of what the company needs to be and what they both go after, and they both have that same goal. We both want to. They both, just like me, I have that same goal too. We want to show the world what micro wrestling is all about, and I believe we're taking it. We have taken it as far as anyone has ever took it, and we want to take it farther than that. You know what I mean? Like nobody has done. I don't believe that nobody's really done what we've done, and we want to take it farther than that.
And you're doing such a great thing. You sorry for interrupting you there. You guys are doing such a great thing, like Cody and suppose yourself as well. You're doing a great thing for micro wrestlers, because I think a lot of the guys maybe that were involved in indies like yourself would want a facility to train with micro wrestlers as well. And them guys being able to be on, like, I suppose, the biggest micro wrestling stage ever is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. Like now, we have we have big shows now where we have like we have a big show coming up, and like so now we're working out stuff. Jack and Cody's working out stuff. I'm in the background helping out too with the new talent and stuff. And so it's great to have Cody out here because he can help out where places I can't help out because he has more experience than I do. but I can help out where he can't. You know, we work well together. Same thing with Jack. You know, because Jack actually wrestled too. I don't know if people know that, but he did. He was trained by the Demon Lincos.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Demon Lincos he was trained by?
He went to the Demon Linko school.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. But he didn't. It wasn't for him. But yeah, no, he has a lot of. They both have a lot of passion for the business, which is great. So.
And TPN Toy Plus Network says, "Will Big Little Brawlers come back?"
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if you follow us on Facebook, we put out a post the other day, and it was like, would our fans rather have us have our own wrestling show or a reality show? Some people said both. Some people just said wrestling show. Very few said the Big Little Brawlers, but a lot of people, most of them said the wrestling show. Most of them wanted to see the wrestling show. So to answer that question, I don't know if it's going to come back. We haven't even started filming. We haven't talked about it. But, you never know what the future holds.
And it got you guys a lot of publicity. And that's right first. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It helped us a lot.
And that's where I first discovered it as well. So I'm from Northern Ireland, thousands of miles away from where micro wrestling is. And for me to be able to see that in another country, I think that just proves what publicity it got you.
Yeah, it did. It got us a lot of publicity. So for that, I'm thankful for it. I think it's great, And
I first found out who you were, watching the show. And I've asked you before about this, so you don't mind me asking about this. So Hot Rod as well. I know you had some problems with Hot Rod. How are you now?
I think we're really good now. I think he, wasn't like I was trying to be mean on that show, whatever. It was just like, people have came for me. He wasn't the first. He won't be the last. If you're that guy, if you're here, everybody is trying to come up. So it's just they're trying to take your spot. It's up to you to keep that, be like, hey, no, I had to fight for this spot, so I'm going to fight to keep this spot. But at the end of the day, we're brothers, but also we're both competitive. So.
And when you mentioned they're your brothers, would you say that you're a part of? Would you say that micro wrestling's just like a big family?
Yep. I would. We're around each other every day. I'm around these guys more than I am my family. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And being on tour with them and all, you get to know loads of them. There's maybe sometimes you just won't get along, maybe sometimes you will, but that's what family's like.
Well, I mean, anytime you're with somebody for a long period of time, you get tired of them. You butt heads. But
And then you and your brother of obviously Baby Jesus. You went by loads of other names as well, but you guys have went through the wrestling business together. There's only two micros really there, and have a match I want to play here off you and Baby Jesus. I'm going to do a promo here, so I think you're on a promo at the start of here, so I'm going to turn the sound up so everyone can hear it in a second. So this is your match against Baby Jesus.
All right.
Let me get it up here.
The discipline and the little brothers, they just got to do whatever they want. No consequences, nothing.
I find that older brothers in general are angry.
Christmas rolls around, he gets a fire truck, I get a shovel.
It was a pretty good shovel.
When he turned 12, they took him to the zoo. When I turned 12, they took me to the unemployment office. The lady asked me, sir, what can you do? I said, I sure can dig, because I've had this shovel since I was 6 years old.
To be fair, the shovel was for everybody.
Sometimes, when you lose a member of your family, it can tear it apart. Or, it can make it stronger.
Micro 1's champion Lil Show
Oh,
takes on his younger brother, the Micro 2 champion Baby Jesus.
It's the Road Warriors of Micro 1 versus the Tourist Town Entertainers of Micro 2.
That's so cool. I think the
pretty cool.
idea of this show is pretty cool. Like the idea of that show is pretty cool, the rivalry, and it's kind of like Survivor Series where it's Micro 1 versus Micro 2.
Yeah. That's actually on our Micro Wrestling app. It's free. It's that's pretty. So we also have all kind of other stuff on our app too. Is that where you got that from in the app?
I just got it from the YouTube, but I've seen it on the app.
Yeah.
One second, just need to remove this out. Go. So, as you can tell, you and your brother know each other quite well. Obviously, you know each other quite well, but I mean, in wrestling, like you have a lot of good in-ring chemistry and stuff. So, what would you say? What would you say makes a good match, or what would you say creates really good in-ring chemistry with someone?
Being real, being like just to create that fire, that chemistry in the match. You just got to be yourself. I mean, that's what me and him did. I mean, but also we fought all of our lives. Like I knew what he was thinking before he even thought it. He knew what I was thinking before I even thought it. And like I said, out of our 23 years of doing this, I've wrestled him 20 years. 20 years. I've been in the ring with him at least, once a week or whatever. So it was there's a lot. I mean, a lot of wrestling.
Let's get it on.
Yeah, watch it. It's just crazy. This is one of our first matches that we did with that Jack scene that we did, and he was like, "Oh my God," he loved it. So it was just crazy.
Yeah, Jack also said that with the spot that you done, the belly to back suplex or the belly to belly, that was one of the highlights of micro wrestling. How could you pull something like that off? That was pretty cool.
I guess timing. I think a lot of the stuff that we figured out in a match, we learned as we started wrestling each other. Like you put some stuff together. Okay, boom. Well, you don't know how the crowd's going to react. You don't know what you're going to do until you get out there. So, hey, we'll try this. We'll throw this on there. It's like cooking. Like you got a big pot of stew. Well, that tastes good. Let's throw that in. This tastes good. Let's throw that in there. Let's keep throwing all this stuff in there, and then make this banger of stew. And that's how it is. And with this match, we just started throwing different stuff in there. And whenever it worked. And like his bumps, like I said, he takes those crazy bumps.
And that's from Patanaka, yeah.
Yep. Like at this time, we done got tuned up by Patanaka. Here comes the arm drag, another arm drag. It's crazy that I can call this match is old and I can just call it from spot to spot, know what's going to happen. The monkey flip. Yeah.
This match seems pretty cool. Like, is it? What was this for? Was this for a Micro Wrestling Federation?
Yep, this was for Micro Wrestling Federation. Yep. At that time, I didn't really have no custom gear, so I had to do the best I had. So I found that. I always wanted to, with me, I've always said, you should look like a wrestler. You shouldn't come in there with like shorts or whatever. At least look like a wrestler if you can do it.
And I think you've had such a cool career. Like when you're talking about some of the stuff, and I saw some of your interviews, in the past because I researched it quite a lot. So you've been in WWE for a WrestleMania entrance. I know that was one of your dreams. So what was it like getting that call to be told you're going on WWE WrestleMania?
I thought it was a rib. I thought somebody was ribbing me. It was crazy. I got a call. I guess they called me and I didn't answer. They texted me, said, "Hey, this is John Combs from WWE." I'm like, "What?" So I called it and it was like, "Yeah, we're wanting to know if you would like to do." We seen because what happened was my friend. I was like, "How?" Because she kept doing these extras for WWE. I was like, "How do you do that?" And she's like, "Well, you just got to go in there and fill out form and all that stuff." And so I filled it out, not thinking nothing about it because I filled it out like 4 years before that call even came. That's crazy. I filled it out years before that call came. So they finally called me and was like, "Hey, yeah, we're doing the New Day. They want to have some, little guys in it. We'll know if you would want to be in it." I was like, and I was on tour at this time. So I was like, okay. So I called Pat and I was like, "What do you think?" He's like, "I think you should do it." And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah," because I was like, "Okay." I said, "Well, I have to pay for my own plane. I got to pay for my hotel. I got to pay for everything." He's like, "Well, I think you should do it because if they need you again, then they'll call you." I said, "Okay." So I did it. Jack actually paid for my ticket to go out there, which was cool. And then, but they told me is like, "Hey," but it was the funny thing is they didn't have no more little guys. All they had was me at that time. So I got little Fabio to be in it with me, and then I called Bam Bam. And then when I called Bam Bam, he called all these other guys. So, and then that's how we had all those little guys up there. Because that time they were just going to have me, but they wanted more, but they didn't know how to get more. So I helped them get more. And yeah, we got there, and it was incredible. But they like you don't speak to no one unless they speak to you. So I was like, okay. So I didn't talk to nobody.
You talked to nobody, and that must have been so hard. There's probably some of your favorite wrestlers there, some legends.
Unless they talk to me, I talk to them. Like Ronda Rousey, she was very nice to us. Shane McMahon, HBK. I mean, they would say, "Hey," but WrestleMania, man, it's very big. So like they're all on their P's and Q's and trying to figure out, what they got to do and stuff. So I totally understand that.
And what's it like backstage there at WrestleMania?
And intense, high intensity and intimidating, and just try to stay out of the way. Just be ready for your cue. That's how it was like me. But it was also great at the same time seeing all those legends and and just being there and just being in an environment with all of the wrestlers backstage. Like I was in the where they eat at. I was at that table watching the whole show while had all these legends in there in the same room with me. It's crazy. But also, I got hurt at WrestleMania too.
How could
I
you
went down. I went down to do the worm. If you go back in that video, you'll see how I come up. I can't feel my legs, but I went down to do the worm, and as I come up, as soon as I go down for the worm, my legs go numb. I can't feel my legs. So as I come up, it looks like I don't have no legs because I can't feel them. So I'm doing my best to walk to the back in front of all these people and not make a scene. Because I come up like I can't feel my legs. If you want to put that on there, you'll see it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I've watched that entrance quite a lot of times, because I'm a big fan of the New Day. And I only found out
Yeah.
recently that was you that done the worm, because I've seen that so many times, you doing the worm. I didn't know who you were at the time. So that's pretty crazy.
It was me and actually he's in NWA now. Oh my God, what's his name? I can't. I'm just having a blank. But anyway, he's in NWA now. And he asked Vince. He's like, "Can we do the worm?" And he's like, "I don't care what you do, just don't mess up my show." Okay. So we did the worm. Yeah, so that was pretty cool though.
Pretty cool. And I see there, you like to do a lot of moonsaults as well. Is that one of your main moves?
That was, and the reason why I do that is because when I started going to the top, when I started hitting those, nobody did them in micro. Everybody was just doing a splash or swanton or whatever. And if they was doing a backflip, it wasn't a 160-pound micro my size doing it. You know what I mean? So I always told myself I want to be different. I don't want to do the same moves as everybody else. That's why I came up with the kill. That's why I have the kill shot now. Because it wasn't. I was the only ones doing the spirit. Now, back in the day in the micros, now a couple more do the spirit. So I was like, okay, I need to change it. I need to come up with something. So I watched a wrestler, Chris Alexander. I don't know. Anyway, he actually, when he picks them up, he sits down with them. And that's what I was going to try to do, but my body wouldn't let me. So I was like, I'll just turn into a rock bottom. And so I pick them up and turn into a rock bottom, and it's called the kill shot.
And
that's
pretty cool.
Yeah. I never want to be like any of the other wrestlers. I want to be the best me that I can be, the best Lil Show.
Do you think that's maybe why you made it in wrestling? Do you think that's maybe why, because you were more different than some of the other micro wrestlers?
Heart. I think it's heart. Strive, drive. In this business, if you don't love it, it'll show. It'll show if you don't love it. It'll show if you ain't giving 110%. If you ain't giving it everything you got, it'll show. Every time I step in that ring, I give the fan, whether they like me or they hate me or whatever, I will give them 110% every time. I've been in the ring where I'm sick as a dog and I still wrestle. I've been in the ring where for a whole week I was sick, but I took medicine so I could stay out and I could do the best I could in the ring. I will give the fans whatever they need, because I feed off that. I feed off the fans.
Yeah, and even in the ring, sometimes when you're a heel, sometimes the fans don't like you. You get quite booed as a heel. What's the worst thing you've done to get over as a heel?
I've had when I was a heel, I've had bottles thrown at my head and I've had drinks thrown in my face.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I had a bottle thrown at my head one time, and then I've had drinks. Somebody threw water in my face one time.
That's crazy. What's the worst thing you've maybe done like to get over as a heel? What's the worst thing you've said to a fan or something?
Oh, I don't think I can say it on here, man. I don't think you want me to say it on here. It's pretty bad.
Maybe the second most.
Basically, hey, you paid to see me. I didn't pay to see you. You worked 7 hours a day, 5 days a week to come and watch me. Ain't nobody ever paid to see you in their life. Something like that. You know what I mean? If I was a bad guy. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you got to remember that without the fans, we would not be here. Without our fans, we would not be here. And I let the fans know that all the time. Like, because of you, I'm here. I get to live out my dream of being somebody.
Oh, what a power
May
bomb.
hurt sometimes. Huh?
What a power bomb there. He just power bombed you.
Yeah. I used to take it every night.
And the fans are one of the biggest things in wrestling. When you come out that curtain, it must feel so good. Where's the biggest pop that you've got? Like the loudest crowd.
Oh man. I guess if you look, there's I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it's one where I'm up on the top rope, and then I got this board hanging down, and I actually suplexed my opponent off the top rope into a plyboard, and that was a pretty big pop and holy crap moment. I have a lot of big moments where the crowd goes crazy, especially now for my intros. My intro, I have my own song for my intro now, so that's always a big pop.
Entrances or some of the entrances in micro wrestling are so cool. Yours is as well, but an entrance I always remember in micro wrestling was when Psycho got with Psycho's entrance where the police cars came out and he was handcuffed.
Yep. That was a good one. Yeah.
And Psycho's one of the most popular ones, even on TikTok and stuff. He's really big on social media. He gets loads of popularity and stuff. So what's it like having him there?
For me, so when I first met Psycho, I was like, man, I just thought he was just like a little, like I didn't know what he could do till I got in the ring with him. I just thought he was just a TikTok guy, and that's how he got his fame. He was hungry, but TikTok is why he got it. And then I stepped in the ring with him, and then he proved to me that he wanted it. And that's how I gained my respect for him. I wrestled him on the second pay-per-view. Actually, not in the second pay-per-view. The second pay-per-view is when I got my respect, but I've actually wrestled before that. But that second pay-per-view, the stuff that we did took me to limits that I've never been, and took him to limits that he's never been. I did moves, and it's crazy. I hear wrestlers thinking about, oh, he took me to a different thing. He did. And with Cody's helped us with that match, but there's stuff in that match that I never did before, and it was pretty big. So he gave my respect then. That's why I say, hey, he's really hungry. He really wants to be. He really wants to try to be the guy. I mean, in my opinion, he might be. He's very popular. He's very popular. I know with the fans, he's over. Cheap Littlefoot's over. There's a lot of guys out here who their gimmick gets them over, and he's one of them gets them over.
Yeah, and Psycho and Cheap Littlefoot, as you mentioned there, and Ivor, even with his ring announcing, a lot of these guys are quite popular. With you being able to get to train these guys and teach them the fundamentals. Obviously, I think you're one of the main coaches there as well. You'd help train a lot of them. What's one of the main things that you want some of the newer micro wrestlers to take out of a training session with you?
Give it 110%. Like you got to give it everything you got, and some guys don't. But if you give it everything you got, it'll pay off. In life, if you give whatever you have passion for 110%, it's going to pay off because you're giving it everything you got. Everything you got. Some guys out here, I can tell if they're giving me half of it. They're only giving me 50%. But I look at it, if I'm giving you everything I got, you should give me everything you got, right? I'm taking time out of my day to help you out when I didn't have nobody helping me out. I'm helping you out because I want to, because I choose to, because I want to help you. So you should show me the same respect and giving me everything you have. Give me everything. First day I trained Psycho, you know what happened to him? He threw up.
Seriously?
He threw up. He wanted it that bad. He threw up. We was in the, it was hot. We was in the sun. And I was having him doing all these drills and stuff, and he did it. But he threw up. Guess what? Shook my hand and said, thank you. We'll do it again tomorrow. I said, okay. That's how you know when they want it.
And what's one of the main things that you... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off there, but one of the main things in wrestling is obviously the cardio and stuff to make sure you can do it in the ring. If Psycho's thrown up, that just proves that your cardio is pretty good and the things that you do in your training. So what's a typical training session like when you're training with Lil Show?
For some reason, I'm not really good at cardio, but I can last long in the ring, I think, because I know how to control my breathing. And I'm just pumped up on adrenaline. But there are some guys where they get blowed up real quick. But also we do a lot of outside shows, and I think one of the reasons why Psycho threw up was because we was training outside in the sun. Like the sun was beating down, like it was hot. But yes, you at least you got to have your cardio up to do this business, this sport. I tell everybody, I tell all the new guys, hey man, this is a athletic sport, so you have to be in shape. You can't just eat Zuzus and Wham-Whams and not work out and not keep yourself in shape and expect to go out there and have that 15 or 20-minute match that you want, or not, or even a 10-minute match. You have to try to stay in some kind of shape, especially when you're doing it every day, not once a week. You're doing this every day, 5 times a week, 5 to 6 times a week. Like tomorrow, we got tomorrow, so we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Starting tomorrow.
And that just shows pure dedication for micro wrestling as well.
And we do this all year long. So that's just micro 1. Micro 2 does the same thing. Each group does a little over 300, probably with all the groups together, we do way over 300 shows a year. Well, probably more than that. I mean, it's a lot,
And
a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm. And you were recognized by Jack as the GOAT of micro wrestling. How does that feel, just to hear that you're the GOAT of micro wrestling?
Incredible. Everything that I've worked for, everything that I've done is paid off. That's what that feels like. Like all of the surgery, the days out on the road, the arguments that I've got in with people, and with sometimes I get in arguments with him or whatever. It's paid off. Like honored, and hope that I can live up to it. And still live up to it. You know what I mean? Like I don't never want to be given that. Oh, you're the GOAT. I want to earn it.
You want to earn it,
and I want to earn it. I don't want to be given anything. I earned everything. I don't believe that I was given anything. I earned everything. So
you did. If you've been training for this long and then you've really helped out micro wrestling this much, you're probably the GOAT of micro wrestling.
Thank you.
And
but that being said, there are great guys out here who are good, and well, not good, they're great. Guys who I'm just name some: Jamaican Joe, Hot Rod, Zach Presley, Flying Ryan, Rufio, Mr. Nice Guy. I'm working with Suave now. And the list that you got Mario, you got all these other guys too. Baby Jesus, Psycho, like they're there. They're there. We all work together. Micro Tiger, we all bring something different. It's like what he said. Like, dude, the stuff that Hot Rod does is incredible. The stuff that Psycho does is incredible. Jamaican Joe, oh my God, the matches, it's incredible. Like, it's came up so much. Micro wrestling has evolved so much over the years. I see it. I know all the guys that that was back in here 5 years ago. They see it too. It's evolved so much. So we've all worked together to get where we're at.
And it's so good to see you guys finally penning off and being the GOAT of micro wrestling. I believe you're the champion as well, aren't you? The Undisputed champion.
Yep. On the pay-per-views and stuff, I am the unified micro wrestling champion.
How does that feel to have that?
It feels it feels incredible, but also I feel it's a lot of because I watch a lot of interviews and stuff, and that's just how I feel. I feel like it's a lot of pressure, like when they put the belt on you, when they put you as the main event of the pay-per-views, then that means something. So you got to bring it. And so I try to bring it every time. Every pay-per-view that we've had, I've been the main event. And so I try to bring it. I give it everything I got, make sure that it lives up to the expectation to be in the main event every time. Every time.
And as you said, there is a lot of pressure being a champion and being the head of the company. You have earned that. You've earned so much in your career. With that title, was it a title match that you faced Hot Rod in a steel cage match?
I'm sorry, what?
Was it the title match that you faced Hot Rod in a steel cage match?
That was a title match in the cage match. And, with that, I just felt like it wasn't time. And if I was Hot Rod, I'd be mad too. If I said, "Hey, I'm going to give it to you," because look, facts is fact. Hot Rod is the strongest. He's the fastest, more athletic than me, 100%. And he's getting better, and I'm happy for him, very happy for him. But it wasn't his time. His time's going to come.
What made you think it wasn't his time?
But I looked out at my family.
Mm.
My family was there. I knew I wanted to get. I knew I was gonna give it everything I had, but I don't know. When it just wasn't his time. But his time's gonna come, and I think we got past that now. Hopefully, we all. I'm hoping that this wrestling show that we get we can start something, either off of that or do something else or whatever. The future. Basically, I will do whatever's best for business. That's where I'm at.
In the future is bright for Hot Rod. I've seen some of his stuff. He's so athletic, so strong as well.
Yep, very.
And as we're coming to the end of the podcast, I want to thank you very much for coming on. But I want to ask you a bit about AEW. Yeah, you were telling me a bit about it. So what was the plan? How did you end up in AEW?
Man, so actually, my buddy who is out here with me now, we work out together. He does a lot of extras with AEW because he's a wrestler himself. His name is Caleb Crush. He is he's actually was in the Squid Games. He was in that series and stuff. So, but his name is Caleb Crush, and he goes and does extras, and he got me in it. I sent in my stuff. And Jerry Lynn helped me out too. So
Jerry Lynn,
Jerry Lynn. And so I was just there at extra and in the backstage, just sitting there like, are they gonna use me? Like, I got all these big names walking by me, like I'm just whatever. And then Kenny Omega walks by and he looks at everybody, looks at me, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm a big fan of yours." I'm like, "What? You're a fan of me? I'm a fan of you." He's like, "Are you working tonight?" I was like, "I want to. I'm ready." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna see what I can do." So I didn't get to work, but I got to do an interview with the frat house for Ring of Honor. So that was pretty cool. I got to be on Ring of Honor. But yeah, that was my first AEW experience backstage. Hopefully I get another one. I know that they know who we are. Everybody back there knew who we were, so that was pretty cool. So I was talking to Shelton Benjamin and
awesome.
MJF, me and not Swerve, but Ricochet and
Awesome.
Will Ospreay was there. He was talking to me. He knew who I was. He was great guy. At the end of the day, you see him on TV, but then you go backstage, like, wow, just like us. But just same thing. You guys see us in that ring, and you're like, wow. And then, but at the end of the day, we're all human. We just when we step in that spotlight, we just turn it up about 10 times. Yeah.
You getting to be on AEW is pretty cool and stuff, but the crazy thing is you've been on some bigger things in AEW, like Micro Wrestling actually beat AEW in the ratings, and that is like crazy that Micro Wrestling has beat AEW in the ratings. Just shows how popular they've got and how far they've came.
Yeah, it was actually so the episode that beat AEW was the third episode, and Big Little Brawlers, and was the episode where all my family and stuff came in. So that episode supposedly beat the ratings in AEW on that night. So that's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
Yep.
And I want to thank you very much for coming on. So I've got 2 more questions for you.
All right.
What's next for Micro Wrestling?
I'm hoping that we get our own wrestling show. I really do. I think the fans will love it. I know that we will love it, and yeah, that's what I think is next. We're gonna get our own wrestling show.
What do you mean by your own wrestling show? Do you mean like a TV series or like
Yes, like on a network, like it'll be micro wrestling, like WWE, like that's what we want. Like, an hour. It might only be an hour, but we will eventually have our own wrestling show. I believe it's going to happen.
It absolutely could, with it getting so popular across the place, and also people are going to be watching it, thinking to themselves, "Oh, I'll watch this because it's going to be funny, micros." And then when they see some of the stuff that you can do, just as good as WWE, like Damian Priest. Damian Priest watches this. Will Ospreay, MJF, Kenny Omega, like he says, and it is just as good as WWE. And people will be more shocked seeing these micro wrestlers, and companies will want to book this, and they can't wait to see the future for it.
Yeah, it's incredible. It was just like I said, just to know that they know who we are is incredible. It really is. So, yeah.
And what advice would you give the young trainee wrestler trying to start out in wrestling?
Never give up. Never. Sorry, I had on your dream, and whatever you do, just like I said, give it 110%. And if this is what you want to do, you got to give it everything you got. You got to give it everything you got. And there's going to be people that say, "Oh man, you shouldn't do that. Oh, that's not going to work." There's going to be a lot of haters, and there's going to be sacrifices. I didn't go to any of my school proms because I was wrestling. I didn't go to my high school prom, my senior or my junior prom. I was wrestling. I was like, I'm going to wrestle. That's what I want to do. I'm going to wrestle. I don't need to go to dance. And I was asked to go to dance, but I didn't go. I wrestled. I made sacrifices. You're going to have to make sacrifices. So you got to give it everything you got. Everything you got. Sometimes things are going to fall into place, but most of the time they're not going to fall in place. And that's when you realize if this is what you really want or not. So you just got to keep on trying if this is what you want.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I know we've been here for quite a while, and thank you. Thanks for coming on at this time. When you're at your rest day for micro wrestling. So thanks very, very much. It's been an honor having you on. You've been one of my dream guests to get on this show, so you have. So it's pretty cool having you on.
Well, thanks for having me, buddy.
Thanks very much.
Yes, sir. You have a good day.
Good day. Bye-bye. As for the next Kayfabe with Keaton, that was an incredible interview with Lil Show. As for the next Kayfabe with Keaton, we'll have coming on Andy Hendricks, who's from England and has competed in CTW in Portugal. He's quite well known there. So he's been wrestling from 2013. So he'll have a lot of experiences to share. He's wrestled in Northern Ireland, Portugal, UK, everywhere. So it'll be cool to have Andy Hendricks on. So I want to thank everyone for joining in, and hope you all enjoyed that interview with Lil Show, because I sure did. So hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.